Hey everybody, it's Jason from the Texas Gun Vault, and once again it is Sunday, and that means it's time for the Texas Gun Vault Poll Question of the Week. This is actually the third time I've filmed this today because the first time I didn't plug in the microphone, the second time I didn't have the microphone turned on. Whoops, so I've rehearsed this 2 times before, so hopefully it's going to go pretty smoothly. But this is a weekly segment where I ask you as my viewers and subscribers about something that relates to guns, EDC, news, politics, you name it, that I would like to get your opinions on. We go over your results of the poll and the top rated comments of the week. So let's dive right into this week's question, which deals with EDC and accessories. The Texas Gun Vault question of the week number 27. Carrying on the line of questions about EDC carry guns, I know some people like to use force multipliers and accessories on their carry pistols. What, if any, accessories do you like to use on your carry guns? Do you find them useful, beneficial, or just added weight? So before I get into the results of this poll, I want to talk about terminology. I find it really funny that us people in the gun culture like to take simple concepts and make them very complex with terminology. So the word force multiplier, I hear that used and thrown around on a lot of other YouTube channels. We're just talking about accessories. Another word that we use a lot is purchase when it comes to like the textures of firearms and how well they sit and hold and retain in our hands. I've always kind of found that to be a little bit silly as well. We like to sure make things complicated with our terms. But anyway, let's dive right into the results of this week's poll question. With 826 votes as of me filming this segment, we have red dot, better than iron sights and more accurate, 14%. Light, the best option to help you see and distract your target, 16%. Laser, point and shoot, plain and simple, 3%. Combination, a couple or all of the above, the more the merrier, 25%. And nothing, I am old school and statistically I will not need them, 42%. I know that I say this a lot, but this week's results really surprised me. I honestly thought that red dots was going to get the overwhelming majority of votes. I was thinking 65 or 70%. Many modern carry guns are already cut for these types of optics. I see advertisements for them all over the place. I see tons of reviews. In fact, now when I see reviews for guns, people always ask, is it cut out for a red dot optic? I kind of thought that's kind of the go-to thing. I have said many times in the past that I think red dots on pistols are kind of the future of firearms. And to only get 14% really surprised me. I thought they were much more popular than what apparently they are. I'm still going to stand behind my statement, however, and I still think they are the future. So I think if I would ask this of you guys 20 years from now, I have a feeling that red dots would be much more popular than maybe they are at this moment. But let's go through each of these results and I'll give you guys my opinions on them. Red dot, better than iron sights and more accurate. Well, as I said, this is the one that I thought was going to get the most amount of votes, but didn't. I know that the technology that goes into these pistol red dots has come a long way. You have companies like Trigicom that has invested a lot of R&D into their durability and making sure that they are big and robust and that they can handle drops and all of the action of the slide reciprocating back and forth and holding zero. I gotta say, they're pretty awesome and they really do help when it comes to a pistol's accuracy. But how good are they in defensive shootings? I don't really know. Because as you know, defensive shootings typically, and using the statistics, happen at 21 feet or less at 7 yards. And that's why all of my range reports are always at 7 yards. And you only fire 3 shots. So the red dot and the use of the red dot might not really come into play, but it's definitely a really cool accessory. But it only got 14%, really surprised me. Then we have light, the best option to help you see and distract your target. Now, when I first got into tactical lights, I really liked the idea of weapons-mounted lights, and I still do. I have a couple of pistols that have them, and I recently reviewed one. But I have now kind of changed my tune when it comes to the idea of using a flashlight in the left hand and a pistol in the right hand. And the main reason for that is the fact that you always want to follow the rules of gun safety, in that if you have a weapons-mounted light, you might end up using that firearm as a flashlight in a very stressful situation, meaning that you're going to point the gun at what you want to illuminate. Well, one of the rules of gun safety, of course, is never point your firearm at anything you don't want to destroy or potentially kill. But if you have a flashlight in the left hand, you can point the flashlight at the target or whatever it is you want to see, and the gun can stay at the low ready position. Therefore, it is much safer. The only downside to having both hands in use is that if you do need to open a door or move something, you do have to put one of the items down, most likely the flashlight, and that would take the illumination off of the target that you're trying to distract. So there's a pro and con to each side of the debate. But I can understand why some people like the lights. Another downside to using weapons mounted lights is often you have to find a holster that would fit your gun, and every weapons mounted light is a little bit different, so you got to get specialty holsters. And once you do that, you're kind of married to that holster and that light. If you want to change, you got to buy a whole new holster. Then we have laser, point and shoot, plain and simple. When I first got into guns maybe 10 or 15 years ago, I think lasers were kind of the popular accessory. I personally don't like lasers because, as you know, the further the target is out and the slightest movement of the gun here, the way you're holding it, can actually move that dot quite a bit. I don't find them to be very accurate. I still use the iron sights when I'm shooting with a laser. I actually think they're a little bit more distracting than anything else. Then we have combination, a couple or all of the above, the more the merrier. Now, I like this option because you guys know I'm a collector, and when it comes to firearms, I like to buy guns that have all the options you can possibly throw on it. I think they're just cool. However, when it comes to a carry pistol, if you have too much stuff on it, I think it defeats the purpose of what you bought the gun for, and that is to be small, compact, and light so you can easily conceal it. And as I mentioned, statistically, you're not going to need all of these accessories. But if you're going to have them, might as well go for them all, right? And then last, we got nothing. I am old school, and statistically, I will not need them, 42%. This is actually the option that I was going to vote for if I voted in the poll, which, by the way, I never do because I don't want to skew the results, and I never respond to people's comments in the comment section below because I don't want that to influence people when it comes to the top rated comments of the week. But I do read every comment. But yeah, this is the one I would have voted for. I've always personally thought that iron sights are the true test of a marksman. But as I said, in a self-defense situation, you're probably not even going to use the sights, whether you have a red dot, irons, a laser, or a light. You're just going to point that gun and shoot and discharge approximately 3 rounds, according to FBI statistics. So, but yeah, nothing is the way to go. I want my EDC carry guns to be as light and easy to use as possible. And yeah, I do have that Glock Generation 5 with the red dot and the light. I totally get it. But some people are going to call me out. So as I said, I'm a collector. I like guns to be able to accept the accessories. I like to collect the accessories or the force multipliers. But not all of my carry guns have them. And I am fully aware that I am not some type of tactical ninja. I'm probably not going to use them in any type of situation. But if you're going to be in law enforcement or part of a SWAT team or even in the military, I can see how they would definitely come into use, especially in a prepared operation. But for the average gun person, probably not as needed. But if you like to collect them and use them, more power to you. All right, so that's my thoughts. Let's see what you guys have to say with the top rated comments of the week. So with the top rated comment of the week, we have K. Bauer. If I'm carrying it, I want it to be as light and compact as possible. If it's a carry, it's for a defensive situation. So I want it quick to deploy. Nothing to turn on or off, so one less thing to worry about. So I completely agree here. The odds of needing any of these accessories are slim to none, but I do have to put a caveat. One of the accessories can be on all the time. And getting back to the technology of the red dots, just with these small batteries, they're able to get years of use out of them. When they're in the holster, you leave them on. They're always ready to go. So you don't have to really worry about the red dot too much. And that's really kind of one of the marvels of modern technology when it comes to that stuff. Next up, we have Matt Moore. Tritium night sights are pretty much a requirement for me as a carry gun. I also carry a separate flashlight and pocket knife. I think a pistol, light, laser, and red dot are highly situational and not must-haves for everyday carry. I like to keep it simple, stupid. And I think he encapsulates everything that I said in my personal comments. Yeah, you don't need all of that stuff. And I do agree with him about the night sight upgrade, but that's still using iron sights, and they're always ready to go. In fact, one of the things I always do on my carry guns is either put on a fiber optic sight or night sights. Rarely do I carry a gun without them. Then we have Jack Mullins, who's another local friend and lets me borrow a lot of guns for the channel. He says, "As I get older, I have more trouble with iron sights, and red dots and lasers are easier and faster to attain the accuracy I want." And he makes a great point here. Not all of these accessories are to be tacti-cool. I know that as some shooters get older, sometimes they're going to have vision problems, they might have other issues, and these types of accessories can really help these people use these guns safer and more reliably and be more accurate. So it's not just, as I said, a tacti-cool accessory. Sometimes they can really help people. He makes a great point, and I'm glad he made that comment. Then we have Charles McClung, who says, "Nothing extra on the gun, I got a separate flashlight." And so he's kind of echoing my sentiment earlier. I think it's better to have a separate flashlight than a weapons mounted light for the reasons that I mentioned. He's kind of saying the exact same thing, and I completely agree with him. And I have seen a lot of the tactical operators on YouTube talk about the same thing. And then finally, we have Wayne Battersby, who says, "I am old school iron sights are the way to go. They have worked for hundreds of years. There were people in the Civil War taking out people at 600 yards with 19th century muzzle loaders." Now, I'm not going to make fun of all the typos. I am a typo master personally. I know he kind of started with one idea and finished with another, but I think we all know what he's talking about. And as I said, I think using iron sights is the test of a true marksman, and he's absolutely right. I think if you train enough and know your weapon, iron sights can be just as good as any other type of optic, but you have to train with them. Optics, especially very high quality optics, can turn a novice shooter into a pretty darn good shot instantaneously. But iron sights require mastery and discipline, and honestly, when it comes to firearms, I think that is one of the things that they can teach us. They teach us patience, discipline, mastery, and the internal battle of the mind. It's not an external thing. Shooting is a very internal and thought-provoking sport. You have to relax. You have to think about all the micro muscles of our fingers, our breathing. It teaches you a lot about patience and control. Well, there you go. That is your thoughts and comments on the Texas Gun Vault poll question of the week. I always enjoy hearing what you guys have to say, and I always enjoy interacting with you. If you would like to participate in next week's poll, please go to the community tab of my YouTube channel. I will also post a link in the description below. You guys can go over there and vote, comment, and like other people's comments so we can get the top rated comments of the week. Hope you guys enjoy these segments every Sunday, because I surely enjoy bringing them to you. All right, so let me know if you have any questions. And as always, thanks for watching.